Hi everybody, I'm back with yet another video. I thought the others were my last video, but I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can. And this one I think is by far the most ominous warning of the videos that I have, which is the sixth seal, the beast rising from the sea, which is mentioned in Revelation chapter 13, but also throughout Daniel. The book of Daniel. But anyways, I want to go through this fairly quickly. I think this is going to occur on May 26th when we have that super moon total lunar eclipse on May 26th. So in, I guess, a couple of days actually. So anyways, let me get started. Let me apologize because this video will be a bit rough, just doing it on the fly again as I have with my other more recent videos, and I'll go from here. So on Wednesday morning, May 26th, or other times of the day depending on what part of the globe you live in, but anyways, this will be the illuminated area for the total lunar eclipse on May 26th. And since it's a super moon, that means that it's at apogee. In other words, it's closest to the earth, so it appears bigger, and they call it a super moon. But at the same time, it's going to be a total lunar eclipse over this region, and this region is over the Ring of Fire, which is where all of the underwater earthquakes occur, the greatest ones. But right here in red is the crosshairs of when it's at its maximum eclipse, and this is right almost directly over the Tonga Trench, which is northeast of New Zealand, east of Australia. And that trench is one of the most notorious underwater earthquake regions, and is predicted to produce a massive earthquake and associated tsunami with it. And I think that could be possible if this is in fact the opening of the sixth seal, being the great earthquake mentioned in Revelation 6. So with it being at apogee or a supermoon, so that means it's closer to the earth, then it'll not only at the full moon be a high tide, it'll be an even higher tide beneath the moon in its crosshair region on that day, on May 26th, on Wednesday. So I think there's a possibility. Please take this as a warning, but bring it before the Lord and ask the Holy Spirit to give you confirmation on this. That's just what I'm guessing may happen. So in Revelation chapter 13, it talks about the beast from the sea. So I believe it is a political system, and possibly the countries of China and Turkey, as I just did on my last video. But John the Revelator said, "Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns," or diadems, as it says in the King James Version, which are crowns, "and on his heads a blasphemous name." And then in verse 2 it says, "Now the beast," and this is the beast from the sea, "which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth was like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority." So I believe the earthly beast from the sea is the islands of Hawaii. And if you look at how Hawaii was formed, which is down here, it actually started up here near the Aleutian Islands, and then took a turn towards this area. And so you have these 7 main heads or islands that are above the ocean. There's the rest of these are atolls. And so this is in fact the dragon or the beast from the sea, in my opinion. And let me show you other stuff that is spoken of in Revelation 13 pertaining to the island of Hawaii. So it says in Revelation 13 that the beast from the sea is like a leopard, so spotted. And here's a topographical view of the islands of Hawaii, and there's 7 main islands, so the 7 heads. And John also described it as having feet like a bear. And so here's the feet of a polar bear, and if you look at his front part of his paws and take it to analogy of the islands of Hawaii, that's exactly what it looks like, the feet of a bear. And also John describes the beast from the sea as having a mouth like a lion, so roaring. So if you look at this and liken it to the volcanic eruption of Mauna Loa on the main island, it in fact does look like that. And when John the Revelator mentions that the beast from the sea in Revelation 13 has diadems, or 7 diadems on the 7 heads, or crowns, these are more diadems over here to the right, and worn by royalty. But this in particular looks like a top view, and this is Kauai. And if you look at the other islands, they also have a diadem shape to them as well, right here. And so here's the big island, Kauai, Oahu, I can't see it, Maui, and Mauna Kea, I think is what it is. But you all notice that they all have this diadem shape to them. So I believe that John the Revelator was in fact talking about the island of Hawaii, but in particular, I would say the big island of Hawaii. So Kilauea, which erupted in May of 2018, and then also which erupted again on December 21st of 2020, the same day that we had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. But the island grew, it waxed great from the south towards the east and then upwards towards the Pleasant Land. So that's the United States. And in fact, it does look like a goat. And if you look at a topographical map of it, and here's a topographic view of the main island of Hawaii, which in fact does look like a goat's head with the eye socket and a little horn right here. But the largest volcano on the face of the planet is on this island, which is Mauna Loa, along with Kilauea. But here are the 7 islands associated with the main island as well. And you can't make this stuff up, but below is the red dragon anomaly that was found next to the constellation Virgo in the Revelation 12 sign. And here was taken of a photo of Kilauea during 2018. And again, like I said, with the smiley face, you just cannot make this stuff up. Now, does that mean it's associated with Revelation 13, the beast from the sea? I think so. So I believe with the possibility of this supermoon at the highest tide, right over the region of the Tonga Trench, could produce the great earthquake that is spoken of in Revelation 6 with the opening of the 6th seal. And this whole thing is the ring of fire, where the eclipse is occurring, the total lunar eclipse. And I think it'll possibly produce a massive tsunami, which might actually, I don't know, take out the island of Hawaii and then kick off the beast from the sea, which is the main island, the big island with the largest volcano of Mauna Loa, and then Kilauea. And I think that's what's shown in I Pet Goat 2 with the goat doing the dizzying dance, and it's ash that's shown in that video. And you also see one star torn away from the United States flag, and it also has the memorial of Pearl Harbor. So let me show you a little bit of that, and I'll go ahead and end this video. So here's the goat, and all of this is actually, it's not snow but volcanic ash. If you watch the video further, you can tell that. I can't play it because I'll get dinged for that. But then later it shows the US flag being ripped apart, but it only shows one lone star. So I think there's stuff associated with both the island of, or Hawaii itself, and then the Lone Star State, Texas. But in this case, I'm just talking about Hawaii. And then also it shows an image of the Pearl Harbor memorial, the USS Arizona that was attacked during World War II in I Pet Go 2 here. shown right here, and this is a U.S. flag that ripped away and it flies over towards this area. So I think they're alluding to all of this stuff occurring, and I believe it might happen on May 26th, so on Wednesday. So please take warning to this and pass this along. So again, I believe that the opening of the sixth seal will be the great earthquake in the Tonga Trench northeast of New Zealand or around that area, or associated with the Ring of Fire, plus the Mauna Loa and Kilauea volcanoes. And Mauna Loa is the largest volcano on the face of the planet. So I definitely think that this volcano alone and the great earthquake can wreak havoc on this earth, and this volcano can cause the 3 days of darkness. So I don't know if these will transpire on Wednesday or some other time, but I do believe they're associated with the opening of the sixth seal. But please pray on this, ask for confirmation from the Holy Spirit. And these are just the things that I'm noting and believe could come to fruition. So anyways, I wanted to get this, hopefully I think this is my last video out to you, and I hope you're having a great Monday. And hopefully it looks like things are really spinning up towards the rapture occurring, and it is definitely, in my opinion, the time of the end, and maybe the soon unveiling of the Antichrist. I think he will rise out of the ashes, literally, and associated with Hawaii and Joel 2 and the opening of the sixth seal, Day of the Lord. So, all right, I'll leave it here, and I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.